So, Patrick, you were telling us you broke your toe this week?
I think I broke my toe. It certainly is the color of a broken toe.
Go!
That is for sure. It's all so. The 2 nights ago, miracle, we lost power here again. So I was stomping around down in the storage room looking for something, and kind of hit my toe, a couple of my toes, and never thought anything of it. The old traditional stub toe. Then it kept getting worse and worse. Yesterday I look at it; it's all red, and it looks like you're gonna have to have it amputated. It's a bad looking toe, I want to tell you. But when I took a picture of a toe, you know what I discovered? How much toes look like fingers. That's what I discovered. There's not that much difference between hands and feet. Do you know that? And
No,
and in man, it's very. And we do a lot more with our hands, but they're pretty much the same thing as feet. It's a flaw in the
they're
whole
kind of
system,
funny
I think.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah, they can look bad, and the toes can look a little worse than the hands. Because let's face it, if you got ugly toes, you don't care because you're wearing shoes anyway, right? But if you got the bad gnarly fingers, you're trying to do something about it,
It
right?
is tough. You have bad fingers. It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tougher to
right.
hide
It's
those
like
for sure.
you walk around like this, people get a little nervous.
Yeah, that's funny.
So,
I broke my left big toe when I was in high school, and I was like an idiot. I was playing basketball with some like the slide sandals on, the open toe
oh,
sandals, just with some
that's
friends,
that's
and
asking for it.
I went and chased a ball, and there was like a boulder, landscaping boulder off the court, and I
Uh-huh.
clipped it with my barefoot big toe, and
Okay.
I'm telling you, it flares up still 20 plus years later. Like, yeah, I had to take ibuprofen for the inflammation yesterday on this 20-year broken toe.
I went
Bad.
out to the golf tournament yesterday, and I'm limping around, and then I got to go talk to somebody at the back of the driving range, which was like a mile from then. And I said, "Okay, somebody get me a cart. I am never going to make it there. It'll be that they'll be done playing the tournament by Sunday by the time I get there. The way I was moving, so yeah, it was." That was an uncomfortable day on the golf course, by the way. How hot was it? Man alive, it was. I wasn't out there that long, but
It's very
anyway.
swassy. Yeah, today too for those practice
Anyway,
rounds.
today's their pro-am today, so they would like not to have so much rain because, back in the day when they had the seniors, they had 2 days of pro-ams because they made those guys work crazy, but they only have the 1 day of pro-ams now, so they gotta make hay while the sun don't shine. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, the Twins, it feels like the Twins, much like, remember 2017 when Falvey was pretty new and they traded for Jaime Garcia because they were kind of on
Yes.
the
Yeah.
borderline, and then
Right.
they lost a bunch of games leading up to then they flipped him.
They flip in a week,
Like
right?
these
Like
games, the week before the deadline, these games do influence this front office, as they probably should. And it felt like the Twins last night knew that if we don't get one here pretty quickly, then I mean, they're probably going to sell anyways, but we better
do
get
you,
one here.
do you think it should make any difference, though? I mean, if you're 4 games out of the wild card, so what if you make the wild card with this team? So what?
Yeah.
You're
Well, the
not going to
question is,
beat
would you
anybody.
would to what? Because the rental players are easy, like trade Bader
Yes.
and whoever.
Yeah.
The real question would be with the teams calling on Joe Ryan or Duran or Jax, those guys with multiple years left who are really good.
I'll
What do you
trade the
do?
relievers. I'll trade the relievers, but I won't trade Joe Ryan unless somebody blows me away. That would have to be a big trade because I mean, he's been largely healthy. He wasn't, he was out for a while last year, but the guy's a, 6 inning stud, and that's what you want now in modern baseball. And I, he's by far your ace. I think even when Pablo comes back, he's your ace, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's your
That
ace now.
Yeah.
that would
Yes.
be the guy you'd be loving to trade right now if he wasn't hurt. Would be Pablo. Would be the wily veteran that you would be moving. But no, I don't trade Joe Ryan. But I love Jax. And Johan obviously had a really good year and 2 years, 2, 3 in a row. But I would, if you can slap a bullpen together, get lucky, get a live arm. Hell, Louis Barlins could be closing for you next year. Who knows? So yeah, I would move those guys, but I want something. I don't want, for Griffin Jacks, to me, you put him on that market, you're going to have 18 teams calling because he's a stud,
Mhm.
and he's been healthy, and he's, I would want three prospects and two of them that are can't miss, and then the other guy with a chance. I would want something really good. And Duran too. I mean, if I trade those two guys, I want five players back that are can't miss because half of them are going to miss anyway. So if you get three that count, but they got to punch up this farm system. They got to the nobody's coming. We were all shocked and here when we saw Manuel Rodriguez got hurt again the other day, quad now. So I looked at their box score and it had Rodriguez in it, and I said, "Gee, he fought his way back." And then it was a different Rodriguez. it was H Rodriguez instead of E Rodriguez. So yeah, I would. I would. I would. There's nothing that can happen in the next week that would convince me not to trade. I don't see this team as a threat in the postseason. So
Have you watched the past two nights? Because I'm going to suggest now that Derek Falvey slips Andrew Friedman basically a ransom note before I leave Dodger Stadium.
yes,
That bullpen, and I don't know, they've got guys out and coming back. But I mean, that is a
yes,
joke.
yes. You're right. They should.
Ugh.
This should be like when you traded Aggie when the Red Sox were in town, but I would assume they got their usual farm system, right? The Dodgers that got all these Latin kids in Double A that are going to be phenoms or something. I agree with you, Judd. That's, I wouldn't leave town there without having, leave the game this afternoon without having a deal. So, because they have to do something. By the way, so I didn't have power last night either for a while. So anyway, missed most of the game, but I saw all the walks. So I was wondering, is Doug Eddings like he's behind the plate? Is he not calling strikes or something? I looked him up. He's got the biggest strike zone in baseball. So how wild were these? I mean, historically, he calls more strikes than anybody. So how wild were they? Those two teams last night,
The
man
Dodgers
alive.
relievers were basically trying to throw the ball to the backstop, and Will
Yeah.
Smith was fantastic. It
Was he
was
really?
awful, Pat.
Really? Wow. And I did see the throw to first base. That looked like I thought I was watching a 9-year-old game that the grandpa across the street got me to go to the other day. That what was that? Man alive, that was awful. So, but yeah, I mean, it had to be one of the sloppiest games of all time. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Dodgers, by the way, in terms of their prospect pipeline, they do have six of baseball's top 100 prospects.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's all, huh?
well,
That's
four
nice.
of them are 21 or younger, and at A ball or Double A. Well,
Oh.
five of them are Double A or lower. Four of them A ball. So they're a
Mhm.
little bit on the younger side there, but they do
So
have
you
some talent.
can't trade. In other words, you can't trade both of those guys to the Dodgers. They don't have enough. But maybe
Well,
one,
You,
maybe
you
one,
could. You
maybe
could.
one.
Jackson Ferris is the arm that if I was looking at, that'd be the one I'd get in the Dodgers. He's a tall lefty from IMG Academy. Big strikeout stuff. He's top 70 to 80 depending on where you're looking at for prospects on lists. A lefty 6'4". That'd be a guy I think they would target if they were
We
to go
don't
after
want
someone.
we don't want pitchers that short. We in the last draft we got a 6'11" guy, right? They got a 6'11" guy. We're going for the tall guy. They had 6'6". It looked like more than anything in that draft, they were drafting height, which I don't, I think they had the wrong sport here, but that's okay. But they had like four guys over 6'6" or something. What is this? I don't know.
yeah.
I'm losing my faith. I'm losing my faith in these fellas. I went on
You're
a little.
just now, like right. This was it.
No,
That
no.
Rocky
I
series
mean,
tilted
have
you.
you guys checked out Alcala since he went to Boston?
Yeah,
You
it's
know, yeah.
it's a likely story. This
He
is
throws
kind of
100, and
I
you're
know.
getting rid of him because of Joey Wentz. What the hell? Fix him. Have him be
Yeah.
your 13th pitcher, and fix him. You
Yeah,
know.
in Boston, so he's only pitched 13 times, so small sample size alert here,
Yes,
but
and he's going to
he's
go
allowed
out
one
there.
earned run in 12 and a third innings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to go out there and blow up. What because he gets nervous. There's no doubt about that. And all of a sudden, he can't throw strikes. If he gets the first guy out, he's great. But you can't give up that arm. For Joey Wentz. For goodness sakes, I don't know. I don't think they're very smart. But the other thing is, it'll be really interesting when the ownership changes, in the next several months, won't it? Where, I know they gave those guys contracts, kind of like they're going to keep. It'll be interesting to see the personality that comes in, whether they blow it up or not.
Yeah, well, they
So,
apparently Lavelle reporting on the Talk
yeah.
North podcast network that
Yeah.
there's a new anchor owner that's maybe set in place
Yes.
here that might
The investor, the big investor, is
the
here.
The big
yeah, the
investor,
shadow
Lavelle.
investor.
Yeah, Lavelle put that scoop out there. Maybe it'll make the paper here eventually. That's
Yeah.
something. But anyway. Yeah, I don't. I've been hearing there's some Minnesota guy, but that's going to be the lead. But I don't know who's. So if you're the lead, that means you got to come up with 700, right?
What's the
Million
percentage you
of the.
need to be the lead in a
Yeah,
group?
yeah. I don't know.
Is it
Maybe
450?
30,
You have to be
30. Yeah,
51, or does it have
I
to be
know. I
just
don't
more
think
than
it
the
has to be
others?
51. I think it has to be 30 or something like that. But I have no idea. But it will be interesting to see if it's just some guy with a lot of money in New York who just wants to own something, or if it's a real involved guy he knows a lot about baseball or something and wants to make some changes. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe why isn't it Bloomberg, A-Rod, and Laurie?
Yeah, well, they tried to buy the Mets a few years ago, and then they got rejected because Cohen came in, right? And then they bought the Wolves, but they've been saying behind the scenes that they're not
Not
interested
interested.
in buying
No.
a
Well,
baseball
they're
team right
they're
now.
interested in trying to build a city for basketball city some places, and
Hmm.
that's going to cost them a lot of money. But now Bloomberg's 83 too, so he probably doesn't want to get involved. But you
Yeah,
see how much money he has?
yeah, it's quite a
It's
bit.
like it's like fourth most in the world or something. It's unbelievable how much he has. The thing about that guy, he's very short. Because thanks to Sid, many 15 years ago, Chris and I went to Yankee Stadium. My son and I went to Yankee Stadium, and Sid got us seats in the third row next to the Yankee dugout. And the mayor and his family were sitting in front of us, and he could stand up and you could still see over him.
That's
So
awesome.
that was why you were sitting. So they were really good seats. But he was down there with I think he had two daughters and his wife, and he had those. Sid had a pretty good connection with George. You can sit behind the mayor of New York if you get Sid to get you tickets. I think it's too late for the Star Tribune to punish me for taking those tickets because of Sid's connections. But then again, Judd, if Sid had ever been punished for the ticket deals he arranged, I don't think he would have lasted too long from the Star Tribune management. Do you?
Oh no, no. And let's just say that I enjoyed some Packers games,
Yeah.
some wild games from some really good
Judd's like, what
seats.
arrangements? I don't
Yeah.
know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'd all
And
sit
so did
around
the
and bad.
bosses though too.
We'd all
So
we'd
Oh,
all sit
jeez.
around. We all sit around and badmouth Sid, and then we'd go say, "Hey, Sid, can you get us tickets?" And the answer was usually yes. It's unbelievable. So back in
It's
the
amazing.
day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were kind of talking about this on one of our twin shows this week that the bar is so low for what, like the poll ads with just their general approach and the right sizing, the business comments, and that it doesn't take a super dynamic personality to come in as a new owner.
No.
Any new owner that's just not Polad will generate some excitement among the fan base, right?
You know, the funny thing is, and maybe it's because there's more media now and more people, more outlets to express your outrage than there was, but they're more unpopular now than they were when Carl allegedly put us up for contraction.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted to get rid of the franchise, and allegedly, and he didn't get as much heat as he's getting now, and it's probably because of where it's coming from. But people were really turned off by the whole thing. You know, the first of all, when you collapse, you probably should not be talking about right sizing the business. Those are two things that you don't want to do, right?
Well, they also were talking about right sizing the business before they collapsed, after
Yeah.
they won the
Yeah,
first
but when
playoff
they
series
did
in
when
20
they
years.
didn't do anything at the trading deadline. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
But-
Right. So, yeah.
But in 23, they have this playoff for them run, and fans are excited,
Yes.
and they immediately yank the rug out. The other thing too, and Carl was very, very fortunate. You know, that coincided with the contraction threat was that young Twins team that people
Yes.
gravitated to, and I will always say in this town the Get to Know 'Em ad campaign is one of the best campaigns I've seen, and people love that team. So it changed pretty quickly.
And you know, they didn't make the playoffs till '02, but that whole 2001 thing changed the whole vibe because what were they at the All-Star game? They were, you know, I mean, they collapsed that year too, but we didn't take that one personally. Like, weren't they? I think they were 57 and 33, right?
They were like almost 25-ish games over
Yeah,
500.
I think at the All-Star break they were like 90 games, 89 games, and but I think they were 57 and 33 if I'm not mistaken. And then they, you know, Guzman got hurt, and you know, Guzman actually was kind of banged up before the All-Star game but he went because he wanted to go to the All-Star game. Had a date or something, I don't know, but you know, and then remember that weird way the schedule was then. You'd you'd go to they went to St. Louis to play a 2-game series right after the All Star game. You had these goofy like Saturday Sunday schedule games or something like that, 2-game series. And I remember he got hurt down there, and he was hurt, and that really took care of him. There's a guy he hung around for a long time, but he never really was what we thought he was going to be. You really saw when you saw him as a kid, you thought he was going to be a superstar, didn't you?
Well, and then when he made the All-Star game, it was in the middle of that crazy run of American League shortstops like
Oh, yeah.
Tejada, Jeter, Alex,
Yeah.
and maybe a couple other ones. And he did lead the league 3 times in triples. He was a triples
Oh,
machine.
yeah, he was.
He had these flashes. He had 20 triples one year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was
yeah.
the guy. I remember, and you know, we all thought Rivas was going to be a second baseman too. But I remember Fregosi came to town, and I'm talking to him about the Twins club, and very candid guy, and he said, and I said something about Rivas. Yeah, he said, you like Rivas? He said, oh, do you? You like Rivas, huh? Okay. About 2 months later, he came back to town. Rivas was hitting 220 or something.
Yeah.
I said, how you like Rivas now? I said, not as well as I did, I'll tell you that. So, anyway.
Yeah, we did an all Jag Twins roster. Jag meaning just a guy, like just kind of a. And I think that was Luis Rivas was our starting second baseman
Yes.
for
Yeah,
that
we
team.
thought he was going to be okay. So Vikings today. My feeling is you're 14-3 last year, and you're better, right?
Yeah,
You're
and
a
you might
better
have
team.
and you might have a worse record,
Yeah,
but
you
you're
might
better.
have a worse record. You might not win the close ones, but is it? Is the over and under really 8.5?
Yep.
Yeah.
What? They're giving you free money, ladies and gentlemen. Can you go to the sports book in Wisconsin and bet over and unders?
Yeah.
I think you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
Put
make a
the house
drive.
on it.
Or
Let's make a
Iowa.
drive.
Yeah.
Put
I
the
told
estate
you.
on it.
What?
Put the house.
Yeah,
Bet the house.
They're they're going to, first of all, Detroit's going in the tank. Okay. Jared Goff he's going to be awful. They're not going to like him. They lost Ragnow. They've been banged up. They're going in the tank. The lunatic's going to go off the deep end. This is going to be the year. Detroit will not make the playoffs.
Wow.
And the Vikings are going to win the division. And the Bears are going to be better. Green Bay and Detroit are going to be third and fourth in the division. They're going better.
Wow. You're just
Green Bay's
flipping the
going
whole
better.
thing around.
I am flipping it. The Vikings, but I think the Vikings. I'm not being nuts here. I believe it. I believe they're going to win the division easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely the 8.5 feels just like the 6.5 a year ago felt
Well,
low.
what was that? Yeah.
It does feel low. And even if they lose a few extra, they're literally saying that they'd have to be a 6-win worse team this year with a better defense, personnel, upgraded offensive line, and we'll see about the numbers at quarterback. But I think in terms of accuracy and what KOC wants, McCarthy fits it.
You were 14-3, and the guy who might be your second best position player missed half the year, Darisaw. Right? I mean, when did he get hurt? How many games did he miss?
It's like week
Late
9 or
October.
something, right?
9, yeah. So he's
against the Rams.
next to Jefferson. He's your second best player.
Yeah.
And you missed him all year. I don't see any reason that it would be 8.5. I just don't. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep.
Why?
That's true.
Why do the national experts hate the Vikings? That's what we're going to have to have.
Sounds like a column to me. Sounds like a column. People love you for that.
Hey, one last thing. Is our president has done some rather strange things, but the idea that he's fighting to get the most racist nickname in the history of sports back should be the last straw for people to realize that he's insane. Okay, I mean, there's other stuff, but you got rid of the nickname.
I think he's got a lot going on, and he's looking for some things
yes.
It's like when you're running away from the bad guy in the movie, and you're trying to throw things down in the path behind you.
Yeah, right. That's you're exactly right. I'm gonna get people talking about the Redskins instead of other issues. But by the way, the fellow with the plane that they went off for the episodes, there is not. When they release the details, there is not one chance in God green earth that any mention of the trumpeter is going to be in there. The people overseeing it are not neutral. Okay, let's get that straight. So,
well, Pat.
Anyway,
yeah,
on that note,
we'll see if they change the name back. I don't know if that's gonna sway it. We'll see.
Yes. And Cleveland's had more success lately as the Guardians than they are. They're proud of that Guardians nickname, right? They've been better as the Guardians than they were at the Indians here for the last
it's
10
expensive. You got to change all the merchandise,
Yes, right.
and it's just a whole thing. It's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
right. It is. It is crazy. So,
All right,
all
Pat.
righty, gentlemen. Anybody going out to the golf? You gonna go out and watch golf this weekend? Anybody?
I know Judd and I are going out to watch some football practice today, and then
really?
Judd's going to be out there all week. But I might sneak over to the 3M at some point before the week to watch Ricky Fowler win another tournament.
Yeah,
First time in 2 years.
That'd be something. All right, good enough. See ya.
All right, see you, Pat.
Goodbye.
Reusse Unchained on Score North.